I'm here to tell you today that it doesn't matter what exercises you do. If your spine is not supported for these other 15 waking hours of the day, it doesn't matter if you're doing the best exercises in the world, because exercises are not the solution to back pain. So what we need to do is we need to have your spine supported all day long. My name is Dr. Ryan Peebles, and I've dedicated the last 20 years of my life to better understanding and reversing the root causes of chronic lower back pain. Today, we're going to be talking about the solution to back pain. And there's a lot of information out there about the problem, the cause of back pain. Some of it's good information, some of it's not. There's less information about what the solution to back pain is. I believe there's even more misleading information out there. And we're going to start by asking some questions. I think that one of the most valuable things that you can do in any journey of learning and trying to overcome an obstacle is to ask questions. And so I would imagine one of the most common things that people search, say on YouTube, is exercises for back pain. How to fix back pain. Most of the videos and answers that come up are exercises to fix back pain. And so we have a little bit of this obsession with exercises being the solution. So it's like, which exercises should I be doing? And I'm here to tell you today that it doesn't matter what exercises you do, because exercises are not the solution to back pain. Then we'll talk about why the solution to back pain is not strength. It's not core strength. It's not any type of strength. And then we're going to talk about why it is core connection. And we're going to be focusing on what core connection actually is. You may be going, okay, I hear you saying core connection here, core connection there all the time. Tell me what core connection is. And so that's my goal today, is to answer these three questions. And I hope if you watch the whole thing, you'll walk away with answers to what is core connection and understand why that is what I believe to be the solution to chronic back pain. So this is a pie chart. We'll call this time. The pie chart is showing time, and it's showing when you use your spine. You use it during exercise. You use it at all other times. We'll call these waking hours. All other waking hours of the day, you use your spine. You can assume that it's important that it's supported all the time. We're focusing on supporting our spine during the time that we're doing the exercise. And then we leave the gym or we finish our exercise routine and we go about our normal day. But if your spine is not supported for these other 15 waking hours of the day, and that's the cause of the injury, it doesn't matter if you're doing the best exercises in the world. It doesn't matter if your spine is perfectly supported while you're in the gym. It's not going to be enough to do the best exercises in the world. So what we need to do is we need to have your spine supported all day long. Most of that time, you're going to be either standing, you're going to be sitting, walking, or doing something around the house. And these are the times when you need your spine supported. So how do you support your spine during these times? And that's where core connection comes in. We're going to talk about core connection. I'm going to use an analogy. I've had probably the most challenging thing for me over the 6 years of doing this, being a mentor to people to help people get out of back pain, is how do I explain what core connection is? And so that's what I'm going to try to do today. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use an analogy to describe core connection. Say this guy, we'll call him Joe, he decides he wants to meditate. So what Joe does is he sits down on the floor, he crosses his legs, puts his hands in this position, closes his eyes, and because he's in the position and he looks like he's meditating, he believes that he's meditating. But really what's happening in Joe's head is he's thinking about work, he's thinking about Instagram, he's thinking about family, he's thinking about one thing to another. There's just random thoughts happening in his head. Joe's not meditating. Joe looks like he's meditating. He's in the physical position of meditation. But what's happening in here is not meditation. It's just random thoughts. And so that's the equivalent of doing an exercise and assuming that because you are going through the motions, you are going to get the benefits of supporting your spine. Now, if Joe wants to get better at meditation, does that mean Joe is going to meditate harder and get stronger at meditation? So now we're referring back to why not strength? No. The way to improve meditation is to be able to meditate longer, okay? And so you don't have to meditate harder, you don't have to think harder. The goal is to be able to do this low-level focus for a longer period of time. And so we return back to the pie chart. When we are learning how to do core connection, our goal is to be able to do it at a low level for a long period of time. And just going through the motions of doing an exercise, say you're in the core balance training program and you go through the program and you're doing the exercises, you're very athletic and very fit, and so you're able to do all the exercises without that focus on what we teach in the program, which is the core connection, the staying connected to your anchors, is like Joe sitting there looking like he's meditating, but he's not actually meditating. The goal of the program is to be able to develop core connection, which we do through connecting to your back anchor, connecting to your front anchors. And here's the key word. It's to be able to maintain that connection for a longer period of time, as long a period of time as you can. And so doing that harder and building the strength in your core muscles is not going to help you do it for a longer period of time. Being able to maintain your focus and being able to do it at a low level and maintain it for the period of time that you're using your body during your waking hours of your day is the goal. And so instead of talking about strength, we should actually be talking about endurance. How long can you maintain the connection? And I said I was going to define connection, and I've kind of defined what the goal is with the connection, is to maintain it for a long period of time. But if we're going to talk about actually what is core connection, I think the best way I can describe it is it's an electrical connection. It's electricity flowing through your body from your mind to the core muscles. That's really, actually, literally what's flowing through your body is electricity. And the way that we stay connected to our deep core muscles is initially through focus. We want that connection to be a low level, not a high intensity burst of connection for short periods of time, but a low level, long endurance connection that we can maintain while we're breathing, while we're walking, while we're doing the dishes, while we're brushing our teeth, while we bend over to spit in the sink, while we reach in the cupboard to grab a cup on this computer that I'm using. I don't want large bursts of electricity flowing to my computer followed by a blackout. I don't want surges of power. I just want a continuous flow of connection to that electricity. So my computer's not turning on and off. It just stays on, a continuous flow. And that's the type of connection you want to have to your deep core muscles. The maintaining of the connection is the important thing, not the strength of the connection. The strength of your core muscles does become important at certain times. There is a place for core strength. Say you were going to go lift a heavy weight. You want to build up the strength of that connection, the strength of those core muscles, so that you can protect your spine and support your spine even more in preparation for the increased load that you're going to place on your spine. Or say you're going to do an extreme sport like going surfing or going mountain biking. There are moments during the participation in those activities where you want your core muscles to be very strong. But what about when you're just paddling out? Or what about when you're climbing the mountain on the mountain bike? And that takes an hour or 2 hours. You want to maintain a low level of connection, and you want your core muscles to be on so your spine is supported. You have to be able to maintain that for 2 hours. And so that's where endurance comes in. And then when you have to jump over a log, well, that's where the strength comes in. You have to ramp up your core strength to be able to protect your spine. But the vast majority of the time we're using core muscle endurance. And the connection to the deep core is the electricity that's flowing from your brain to your deep core muscles. And that requires focus. And so it's not just about going through the motions. It's about training your focus to be able to do movements while your deep core muscles are on. And that's what we do in the program. First week of the program, right? We learn how to activate those muscles, and we put you in an environment like meditation where we reduce distractions. So we put you in the most simple bodily position. All you got to do is connect to your core. So it's like Joe meditating in a quiet room with his eyes closed in the perfect position. And then we learn how to connect to your core while we bridge up and maintain that connection throughout the bridge. And so that's like Joe learning how to meditate, maybe with some noises in the background, a little bit of distraction, but he's able to maintain focus, maintain connection. And then we add another element. Maybe you can maintain connection to your core while moving your leg. Add that layer. That's like Joe learning how to meditate with his eyes open. And so ultimately the goal is to be able to maintain the focus, maintain the connection into all the movements of your daily life. And so I think that the next question that I would be wondering, if I was sitting on the other end of this screen, is, so does that mean I have to stay focused 100% of the time all of my life? And the answer is, initially when you're training this connection, yeah, you got to kind of push through it and maintain and train your mind. But eventually that focus and that connection that you've developed will drop down into some automatic subconscious form where you've kind of restored a connection that you were designed to have, that we originally had, that you used to have when you were a child. And we naturally had a healthy connection to our deep core muscles that supported our spine. And that connection got lost somewhere along the way. It may have taken 10 or 20 years to lose that connection when we become an adult and we have stress and we have bills and we have all kinds of things going on. And maybe we spent too much time sitting at a computer. So it's going to take time to build that connection back. But once you get that connection back and that electricity is flowing, it can flow on its own while you are focusing your mind on whatever activity that you're actually doing. And you have that connection that you've spent 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, building and practicing and developing, that pays off. And it can pay off for the rest of your life because you've restored the electricity flow through your body to this important muscle group. And you may have to remind it sometimes, but that is the connection that we're talking about. Really, what my best description for the change that's taking place in your body is that you're just forming a new relationship with your core and with your body and with the way that you move. The electrical connection is the relationship. And so that's the goal, is to be able to have a deep core connection while you're walking, while you're doing the things that you got to do to get through your life. And what we do in the program is we train for real life. We don't train for the gym. We train for those other 15 hours, assuming you go to the gym for 1 hour a day. So exercises are the tools, the exercises, and don't get me wrong, exercises are extremely valuable and we need them. That's how we do the progression from very simple to adding layers of distractions and adding movement to the connection and being able to maintain the connection with more and more layers of distractions, aka movement. So the exercises are extremely valuable for that, but they are not themselves the solution. They are not inherently the solution to back pain. You have to do the work of the focus in your head, and you have to then apply it and integrate it into your daily life for it to become a solution. And the exercises are the training ground to practice that focus and that connection. So that's where their value comes in. You're not going to get there if you just go through the motions and do the exercises because you're already athletic or fit. That's why I believe getting out of back pain can often be more difficult for highly fit people because they're so used to being able to just do any exercise with success that it's hard to tone it down and slow it down and learn how to do it with more effort, with the mental effort. Thank you guys all for being here. Until next time, down on the floor and connect to your core. See you next week.